Hey everyone, welcome to Indie Game Club. We are so excited to have you here with us today. Whether you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, we really appreciate it. We're joined by an amazing group of guests. Can I have all the guests wave to the audience out there, please? As you know, every week we discuss a wide variety of games. This week's no different. We got 4 games lined up for you today and are super excited to jump into those. My name is Michael Zytkow. I am the founder and executive director of Potions and Pixels nonprofit based out of beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, where we're broadcasting from here today, although our guests are a bit spread around. So we're going all across the country now, which is super exciting. If you want to check out more about all the work Potions and Pixels does, whether it's game development to community engagement to workforce development projects, everything centered around games. Definitely check out our website, potionsandpixels.com, potionsandpixels.com. We're also on all social media pages, so make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. But let's get straight into it. And also, actually, before we actually jump straight into it, I want to give a shout out to. I know several of the developers are going to be of the games we're discussing today are going to be in the building. So already, I want to give a shout out to the pizza situation on Twitch here. Thank you for jumping in. We're super excited to be discussing your game today. We're going to be discussing the pizza situation, King of the Cul-de-Sac, Grimder, excuse me, and Lenna's Inception. So we're super excited about that. But before we jump straight into that, let's get these awesome, beautiful people here to introduce themselves to the world. Let's start off with my man Tony Tiger right here, right below me in this Brady Bunch frame set we got. Tony, can you let the world know who you are, my friend?
Yeah. I go by Tony Tiger 90. It's my gamer tag on pretty much everything. Just got an Xbox Series S, so go ahead and hit me up on there. Tony Tiger 90 is exactly the way it's spelled, probably on the screen or whatever. But I always say like, hey, my name's Tony, and I like to play video games.
Love it. Always love it. Thank you as always. And if you are familiar with our show, you know we try to keep that high energy going. So whether you're watching this alone or wherever you may be, take a moment and clap it up for each one of our guests as they appear. So let's welcome Tony to the show. Super excited to have you. Joining us again this week is a face you've seen before, Mr. Xavier Jimenez, who is also the head of Full Time Geeks. Xavier, let them know all those social media digits as I've been saying lately.
Well, like Michael said, I'm founder of Full Time Geeks, and you can find us in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our own website, Facebook, Full Time Geeks. So, or the website's fulltimegeeks.com or .org. We'll take you to the website and any of our social media.
Love it. Love it. Let's clap it up for Xavier. Thank you so much for being here this week. Really appreciate it. All right, finally on this bottom row here is the indie goddess herself, Legend of the Star of the Athena Alliance. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Legend of the Star. I basically just exclusively play indies on my channel on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all the same, fun places all the hip kids are using. At Legend of the Star, and I'm also a part of the Alliance with Layla. She's one of the guests here, one of my favorite ladies. We're on a stream team here local to Charlotte, so yeah, hi. Super excited to talk about all these games. I'm so hyped for it.
Super excited. Also, I should say that 3 of the 4 games were recommended by you today, and the 4th game recommended by Tony. So super excited to be discussing all of those. Let's clap it up for Legend. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. All right, next up, we got Layla rocking that awesome Potions and Pixels shirt, I must say. I love the shout out here for the organization. Really appreciate it. Layla, let them know how they can follow you and all that good stuff.
What's up, guys? I'm Angelic Layla. You can find me on Twitch, playing Shinobi Striker mostly. I play mostly fighters or MMOs. And you can also find me on all social media, Instagram, Facebook. I just recently did TikTok as the same thing, Angelic_Layla. In the Athena Alliance, I am, like Legend said, one of the stream team goddess with her. There are many of us goddesses, but yes, me and Legend are usually here on Potions and Pixels, where we are happy to discuss all the games.
Love
Thank
it.
you for having me. Appreciate
Thank you
that.
so much for being here and joining on that Chinese TikTok bandwagon. I have yet to
Yes.
I've yet to get on there. I need to check that out for sure. My son's obsessed with it. Let's clap it up for Layla. Thank you so much as always for being here. Really appreciate it. And last but certainly not least is Derivative. Derivative, who, if you have not seen his awesome stream, goes really into covering some really amazing indie games, especially highlighting games that maybe don't get as much love as they deserve to. So we appreciate that for sure. Derivative, can you let them know where they can find you, please?
Yep. As you said, on Derivative, I stream games that are overlooked and underrepresented. So it's not only the small indies, but it's like, games that may have only came out in Japan and had like 50 people play it.
Yeah.
I like to kind of show everyone these games that may have been forgotten.
Love it.
You can find me on Twitch. It's Derivative, DIRIGITIVE. So just type in a bunch of I's and you'll eventually get it.
I love it.
You can find me on Twitter, same thing. Instagram, if I think to actually post something. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Talk about these games.
Love it. And Derivative, someday we're gonna have to maybe discuss like, I feel like when I talk to people are like, oh, Mike's the hipster indie kid, and then when I talk to you and you're just like, man, I played this game that only me and the developer's mom played, and it's just like, and you take it to a whole like another level, and I'm always excited to watch your streams because you're always discovering and showcasing all these unique experiences. So very much
it's definitely
that.
not a situation of like, oh, I want to be this oh, I'm better than you.
Of course.
These are, you never heard of it. It's no, I want these games to be known.
Yes,
so.
exactly. For sure.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the love of it all. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And do you guys hear that? Does anybody hear that? Oh, I think it's our seventh guest. Are you going to do the voice, Layla? Is that what you're doing? It's our seventh guest. If you are a regular watcher, we have our friend, the American Girl doll, Courtney, who's jumping into the conversation. We, of course, love her, and hopefully she'll be jumping in with a physical appearance here soon. Also, shout out to, I see the developer of King of the CUL-DE-SAC is in the building on Twitch, so thank you so much for dropping in. Yours will be actually the first game we'll be discussing, so super excited about that. But first, Courtney likes to always switch things up and has a couple questions for us that I figure we can discuss a little bit here. One of the hot topics that we've been discussing here in the group, and we would love to hear your thoughts, so make sure whether you're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, make sure to throw some comments in here. We've been discussing cloud gaming, Stadia, Luna, xCloud, all of this stuff, especially with the, especially in the area of indie games. So I know Tony has lately been talking about this lately. So that's one of Courtney's questions of the week. Tony, where do you see cloud gaming going, especially for indie game developers?
Indie game developers. I think it's very accessible. I'm not sure what the business is behind it. I would assume it's a lot more accessible than probably paying for a disc or something like that. Now, as far as game streaming in the future, I think services like Stadia and Luna are probably a little bit too quick to the punch. I don't foresee them taking over console gaming, but I do like the idea of what Game Pass does, where it adds remote play. It's not you could do cloud gaming through, but I actually utilize remote play a lot while I'm in the house. And that actually is a smart idea. I think the idea of how Xbox got into it, you can do remote play, or you can do XPass. I use remote play, but I think that's a smart idea. I think eventually, if they mature enough, they can sort of weed people into this. Breadcrumb them into this path. You could probably see something like an xCloud thing going on for like $5 to $10, and I think that would be a steal.
Yeah, and a lot of this conversation was spurred recently by the fact that if you should definitely check your inbox if you are a YouTube Premier customer or one of these premium Google product customers. They are giving away Stadia, $99 Stadia packages. Tony's got one right there. Yeah, he got it in the mail. This is a real deal. Yeah. It's not a scam. I'm waiting for mine in the mail. but you can get, and I think I got a 3 free month
Yeah,
pro
yeah.
membership for Stadia, and I gotta say I was quite impressed with how smoothly it worked. Had a decent
it was
selection of indie games that were available free to pro subscribers, and
I still have Stadia in the box.
Yeah.
I have. Oh, did I freeze up?
we can hear you though.
Did everyone freeze up?
No,
No, just you.
yeah.
But it froze
good.
while you were smiling. so
Yeah.
that was good.
It was a good freeze. It's not.
That was a good. Yeah, it was good.
I still have Stadia in a box. I did try it when I had my Chromebook a few weeks ago or a few months ago. Yeah, it does. It streams pretty well. I think if you have one of the things to also take into account is your internet connection.
Yes.
I ended up eventually getting AT&T fiber. Now I have 300 up, 300 down.
Yeah.
And it's for the same exact price that they were pretty much ripping me off for the lesser service. So it just made sense to do that upgrade.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, I tested it twice. Once when we had like these historic like rain here in Charlotte, which you may have seen on the news. Unfortunately, massive flooding, and that day Stadia wasn't working well, but the other days it has. So Derivative, I know you have some thoughts on this, especially in the realm of indie gaming. So I would love to hear your take on this, and then everybody can jump in.
Yeah, so I'm kind of the opposite when it comes to the cloud gaming thing.
Yeah,
I think the idea of cloud gaming, absolutely fine. It lowers the barrier to entry. You don't need a powerful computer to be able to play these games. That stuff's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that kind of thing. The problem is I look at things like your Amazon Prime, your Netflix, even your Spotify kind of situation where there's so much of that out there. It kind of almost delegitimizes what is on there because it is so ethereal, especially when it comes to things like these games. You know, if you don't catch it right then and you don't feel like playing it right then, it's going to be gone. And there's no sense of ownership to these games like you would have with a physical disc. Little iffy when it comes to just digital ones too. I mean, I used to be not so bad with that, but I know Amazon just recently came out with a thing saying, hey, you know these movies you've bought on Amazon Video? You don't actually own them. So there's that kind of aspect of the ownership. The fact that it's kind of just, you're throwing spaghetti at a wall, for lack of a better term, with all these games out there. It doesn't really help in the sense of discoverability because of that, which is a big thing when it comes to indie. Yeah, that's kind of where I lie on that. Is I have serious concerns that it's going to, one, make it hard to discover, and two, actually reduce the visibility of these games, because the moment you start throwing these AAA ones at it, they're just going to disappear.
That's interesting you say that, and I totally feel you on that, but I do wonder if there's also a possibility where you could actually get increased exposure to certain indie games. I'm thinking of the games that are currently featured on Stadia and are currently featured on Game Pass that allow people to try it in a way to almost like demo it, kind of no risk. They're already a subscriber, kind of how Netflix, the whole phenomenon of just browsing through things. Now, of course, that's not really getting those people have to be connected somewhat. It's not as open as like a platform like Itch or something like that. But I will say, from an accessibility standpoint, isn't it exciting that we have these platforms now that you can literally just click play and you don't have to worry about, what's my graphics card, what's this, what's that? It's just I click play and I can actually play it.
I mean, I would love to also see some kind of profit margins when it comes to games that are played on there. I gave Spotify as an example. There's a lot of music on Spotify, but the amount of money that the artists are getting for even their songs getting played is like pitiful.
It's a great
point. And I'm really concerned with things. I know we've already seen with like Apple Arcade, the margins that they're getting for their games being on there is not great. There's the good like initial dump like they got with games that are getting like Epic Store exclusivity. They're getting that initial dump of money that gets them that exclusivity. But past that, I have not seen any numbers that really kind of show that it is in the long run beneficial to the indie developer.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that can. I'm very actually sort of interested in the business too, because one thing that you see is that when you look at Luna and something like Luna and Google Stadia, they're like 100% on cloud. They have a repository game, but you look at XCloud, they cycle out games,
Yeah.
and it's a pretty clever thing that they
It
do
is.
because they hook you on the tee. Meaning that you just spent like 40, 45, 50 hours on like Titanfall or whatever, and all of a sudden it disappears. Or like Dragon Quest that's supposed to be coming out soon. One thing that actually got into me was the Walking Dead series. So the
Yeah.
Telltale game Walking Dead. You get the first episode for free, but that says that season pass is where they sell it to you. So and then that's the thing too, is that also with the whole Game Pass thing, they allow you to get discounts on, if you wanted to own the game, you could own the game at an extremely discounted rate. So I think that business aspect is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm very curious, like you said, like you look at like Spotify and stuff like that. I mean, how many indie bands are actually getting played on Spotify like that with the saturation of all these other bands?
That's a really good question. In general, we have the democratization and accessibility of these creative tools is phenomenal, but it's also making it harder and harder for indies to gain exposure, or anybody to gain exposure for that matter. Layla, Legend, Xavier, any thoughts about this? Are you guys buying the hype that, for example, that this might be the last console generation that we're entering right now, and then maybe maybe the future is pure cloud gaming? The folks at Microsoft and Xbox seem to have like one foot in those camps. They kind of see the writing on the walls. How do you all feel about this, and does that excite you?
I don't know if it excites me. I don't know if I'm super hype about it, because streaming exclusive indies, it's my fear is the same as derivatives. Games like this make it, I think, it harder for indies to really stand out because of the oversaturation of mainstream games that tend to overcome these type of platforms. And I think I see the idea of it. I get where you're going with it, but I just don't. I guess for me, the venture just isn't there. Like I'm just not. I think consoles are there's always going to be a next gen. I don't think they're ever going to completely go away. They're either going to become great collector's items or going to because people just like to have that physical, like I have it, I see it, like this is mine. I think the cloud makes things a little too I mean, easier and accessible, but not like not tangible, So there's things that get lost. How safe is it going to be for your information? That's my thinking of it. Especially as a parent, if we're going to go all cloud with games, I want to make sure that my information is going to be completely private. And you don't hear a lot about that when it comes to programs like this. It's just too open source, too open world for me.
I will say, I feel like some of these concerns though echo the feeling of like when Valve was announcing Steam. I remember that got a lot of backlash, and myself included. Like it's like I jumped on there immediately. I should say, like Half-Life 2, I got it. I remember holiday 2004. I remember it like it was yesterday. I have like key dates in my life based on the Half-Life series. That's how much of a fan I am. Forget first kiss with the girl. It's like Half-Life. There we go. That was the moment I remember right there. But there was a lot of criticism for if Valve goes under, what will happen to my game catalog. I feel you on your points, Legend, and Layla. I know how much you like having like a physical, tangible, like you love special editions, that sort of thing. As you two are big streamers. Like how do you guys like the idea, the promise of the idea that somebody can just be watching you play a game and just like one click and they could join the game with you? We haven't seen that like fully come to fruition as Stadia and Google were pushing, but do you guys see some potential from the streaming side for people to jump in and play indie games with you on your streams each week?
Yeah, I can definitely see that as well. I really agree with what Legend's saying. She was saying everything that I was thinking actually. But I do think that maybe it's just not gonna happen as fast. Like I don't think that consoles are going away for a minute. Like at least not the next. Like there will be. I feel like there'll be another one after this one. You know, like just because people. I don't think it's like popular enough yet for people to want to change their ways and really like hone in on it. I guess like people,
Feel ya.
especially parents. So that's when Legend was like her as a parent, like me as a parent. Yeah, it's like are my kids gonna be able to grasp this? Like this is a lot of kids do have consoles nowadays, especially. So it's like, is this gonna translate for just people who are gaming all the time, like us, like our age, or is it gonna be like is it gonna take parents a while before they are this is a new idea for their kids to be able to grasp and their kids to be able to like do, you know? So I
Yeah.
just feel like that's probably my take on it is I don't think it will happen as fast as
I'm really
as
curious about that, and I want to hear what you all think about in the chat. We see several folks on Twitch and Facebook. Shout out to Grant Johnson on Facebook. Appreciate you. Good to see you again, my friend. He said he's super excited to. He said how much he missed the show, and he's super excited about the exposure that we're bringing to games and everything. So really appreciate you on there.
To your point, though, to your point about having someone being able to click and play games with me, as an indie streamer, I would love that idea. I think that would be awesome. I mean, anything to get indies out there, because, you know, I tell everyone in, like, anywhere that I can, it's, you know, you can't play a AAA game without reminiscing on an indie-based game. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, there's just that history, there's that story to it.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic. Anything to get indies exposure, especially because the indies don't get enough credit as they should. They get skipped over a lot of times.
True.
Now, as a woman, though, in gaming, for safety purposes, I mean, they would need to do like email address or something. You know what I mean? Like, I need to have
some kind of verification.
It's a good idea. Yeah, verification to know, like, you know, who knows if it's going to be a creepo or whatever. But then again, you know, just to have that extra level of protection for us, especially because, I mean, guys get it too. I'm not going to double standard the situation, but, you know, for us, it's important to, like, I don't allow links on my channel. Boom.
Yeah.
Because if people want themselves streaming late at night, you know, I don't usually have mods around.
Yeah.
You know, so having that extra verification, I think, would make me feel safe. But I like the idea. If there is a safety factor to it, an extra level of it, then I think that'd be fantastic. I'd be totally down to do that for sure.
Yeah, the pizza situation on Twitch is actually saying, that'd be something I'd be weirded out about too. Sorry, Layla, what were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with it. That was something that I was going to ask as well. Like, so you can just join a game, but like with my permission?
I think it is permission. I think the way it was demoed is like, the whole way like the dream of like Stadia is that you as a streamer are like streaming on YouTube, gaming, somebody watching you can just play the game if they wanted to, like solo, and you would get like potentially a credit, like you would actually be able to monetize that because you're the one that can immediately direct the fact that you linked this person to the game, which is pretty cool to think about, especially for those who are doing this professionally and aspire to, but also the possibility that if you are playing a multiplayer game, that they can jump in with you.
You know what? That reminds me of, you know, the platform that no longer exists.
Mixer?
Mixer. Yeah. You know, when Mixer had that same thing, but for partners.
Shout out.
They would have, and people would actually be able to purchase the game via their stream in their chat.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mixer did some really innovative stuff.
Mixer did. It was Mixer was good. It had its downpoints. It was like everything that people wanted in Twitch. Mixer did, but none of like it was. If they could just like, you know,
that's gonna have to be another Courtney question for sure.
My biggest thing with Twitch is it's just some of the user interface sort of sucks. Like you can't search certain videos. You can find in the app recently played, but you can't go onto the web browser and see what you're recently your browsing.
Yeah.
Oh, discoverability is horrible.
Horrible. At least with Mixer, you got to like be all meshed in with like some, like you'd be next to someone who had like 20 people, or like, you know, next to someone who only had 5 viewers. Like I loved
I'd love to look into that more because I don't actually know like the full ins and outs of that.
There's one
still
I
relatively
guess
new to this.
Allegedly made like Altair, something like that. Yeah, Altair, they're like so everyone's got their fingers crossed, and then with this whole, I don't want to get off tangent about the DMCA and Monster Cat thing, but like, even that's like
the Monster Cat thing.
Yeah.
I was ready to stop my affiliate program.
That's weird.
That was a little.
That's weird.
That's a little hinky.
I'm a little.
But I digress.
Yeah, we'll have to have that for another one. Let me read this comment.
I'm excited about these games.
Yes.
I'm so like, ooh.
Yeah, let's get into these. Although I definitely want to give Xavier one last word on this, because I feel like that's your new role. It's like Xavier just patiently sits there, really calm and stoic. And then I never know what he's going to say.
Man.
Let me quickly read. King of the Nerds is saying 3. We need Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, Team Fortress 3. He said Valve can't count to 3. He's also saying I grinded on Mixer hard before the shutdown. I feel you on that, my friend. All right, Xavier, give us the final word on this before we jump down this game rabbit hole and move on here. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I hate the whole subscription model thing, and I knew it was bad once Adobe did it with their Photoshop program, that you couldn't own the product anymore and you had to pay monthly. And once I saw that coming, that sucked. And then you have immediately after that, you had like PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and you had to be online pretty much most of the time. And it's just this weird situation where there's these barriers to entry that you need unless you have access to it. And I hate that we're becoming part of that society kind of thing where you have to have all these things in order to enjoy this one thing. Like,
yeah, I hear you.
All you have to have is a TV and some power, and you have your game, and that's it. But now you have to have internet.
I love this old man talk. Back in my day, all you needed was a TV and some power, and your game and your Blockbuster video. You got on your phone and you called the Blockbuster to see what games are coming out on a Monday night. Yeah, I love it.
All right. I'm going into a tangent, but okay, cloud gaming. It's definitely, I think, is the new wave. Consoles are probably gonna die eventually. I know they'll be kind of more like stream boxes in the end.
Sure.
I feel like I just saw the PlayStation 5 at my friend's place, and that thing is the size of the desktops you use for your events.
That's a big boy, for sure.
It's already a computer. At this point, they just might as well make a contract with Corsair and just brand the cases. And I feel like that's pretty much where we're going as far as that.
Yeah. I wish we could talk about this more. I know we got plenty of games, and I know we're going to jump to those, but I definitely want to talk about this in the future, because I'm loving, you guys know how much I love to be a contrarian, and I'm loving that I'm the only one who's super bullish about this. So we're definitely going to have more talk about that. I also love this comment that I'm seeing from Goodsport168 on Twitch saying, we used to play Tetris by candlelight. That might not even be a joke. If you're familiar with the Game Boy, I definitely had the Game Boy, the super magnifying glass, the lights, the speakers, and you're just holding this. And you're just it's portable. And
I've definitely played Wii by candlelight because I forgot the infrared bar.
Oh yeah, well there you go, there you go.
And the Game Gear was revolutionary because of that.
That's true. That's true.
Color, and you can play at night.
Those were the days. Camping out in the Radio Shack, Pong involved the table and two paddles. I love it. We're apparently a lot of old timers here on Indie Game Club. Don't mistake our youthful appearance. We like our gaming by candlelight.
Ignore the thinning hair.
I love it. All right, let's. Thanks, Courtney. Appreciate it. Shout out to the Courtney questions this week. All right, let's get to these games right here, folks. So the first one we are going to discuss right here is King of the CUL-DE-SAC. We're just going to come straight into the conversation. You see the trailer right there. I want to read real quick a little bit about King of the Cul-de-Sac. And again, shout out to the developer, hopefully still in the Twitch. Really appreciate you being here. Let me move this over here so I can read this better. The King of the Cul-de-Sac is the title given to the strongest, toughest kid on the block who rules the circle of suburban homes in the manner they see fit. With Kara's brother moving to college, she assumes she's next in line for the throne, but quickly realizes the other contenders for the crown will have to be convinced with her fists. King of the Cul-de-Sac is an interactive graphic novel that uses comics, prose, games, and music to immerse and amuse readers, while branching story paths bring them back again and again. And just to reiterate on that again and again, there are 6 different ending chapters, RPG-style boss battles, mini-games and puzzles, and a secret 7th true ending, but don't tell anyone. The game is designed, the designer here goes by Vimy on Twitch, and I see... Vimy's like art on Twitch and Twitter, and Vimy on Itch. Sorry, Itch and Twitch. It's hard to keep those two together. But yes, still in the building. So thank you, Vimy, for being here. Let's jump straight into this one. I got lots of thoughts on this, but I do enough talking as is. Who wants to jump in here first about this one?
I can go first.
Yes, Xavier. Whoa! Whoa! Xavier! Going first here. You got something to say about this. Let's hear it.
No, I definitely enjoyed the game. Just in general, the whole premise kind of reminded me of like Ed, Edd and Eddy, the whole like neighborhood rivalry kind of thing with the neighborhood kids. Like we were talking before the show started, I pretty much waited to the last minute to play these games. I've been really busy, so I've been like playing in between the video, them talking and whatnot. And this game, luckily, since I was able to download it onto my phone, I was able to play it today during my lunch break at work.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I definitely like the whole setup and the art is really cool.
Beautiful.
I only played it through once, so I only got one ending. And I think my favorite part was for the collector. There was a point where you had to go and get money to get these gacha balls or something.
Yeah, I love that part.
And you just have to like tap to like for the girl to like run to the bike, and then you have to collect cans to get change. It was really interesting how it like changed from like the story based to that, because I didn't expect it at all, and it was a nice change of pace. It's like just paying attention to the story, and then now I get to actually do a little bit more than expected, and then another break, read what's going on in the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I'll probably try to see how many other endings I could unlock.
Love it. And we should say the developer actually said that episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy called King of the Cul-de-Sac is my mortal SEO enemy. I can only imagine that it's the case. I love it. Legend, you were the one to recommend this game to us and bring it to our attention. So I think it would be fitting for you to tell us your thoughts next. Did this live up to your expectations?
I loved it. I was so pleasantly surprised. I love the concept of giving, visual novels don't get enough credit, I don't think. And being able to make it interactive just brings just a whole new sort of like level to it. Like, I think the art style was amazing. I loved the concept of it. It was very Ed, Edd and Eddy for us old people. And
God,
there's this one.
That's what describes old people.
Is it? Something of the Creek. There's one new cartoon that's out. Oh my gosh!
I think I know what you're talking about.
Craig of the Creek. Yes, reminded me a lot about that as well. I loved it. It was so wholesome. It was so it was fun to play. The playability too. I think is the best part, is the playability of it. Again, visual novels don't get a lot of credit, and to make it an extra step to add the interactive storyline to it, to make, different hidden, secret chapters is just, I liked it. I liked it so much.
For sure. And we should say that, we featured a lot of visual novels, this genre on Potions and Pixels. We usually feature at least one a week, I would say. And I think we recognize here that they're somewhat polarizing in the larger game community, because you do have some folks who say they're not traditional games, so to speak. They're very linear, and you're just kind of going down branching paths. What I love about this here is that, first off, I guess let me fight against that, because I think the whole idea that even if it is just branching paths, and even if it's just clicking through text, that alone is a level of interaction that is still exciting, new, different. And so we don't need to hate on it in terms of like a spectrum and say like it's either got to have full level interactivity to this extent and freedom, or it has to be like pure linear. This game, the writing in this game is so good. The writing in this game was so good that it kept me entertained the entire time. I was super excited. I played through a few times. I was surprised at how different the playthrough experiences were. Like, really different. The first time, I think you guys are like me. The first time you play the game, you play it like how you would in real life, right? I'm being this this nice little sweet boy, the man I am in real life, hopefully. We'll see. But then when I played the second time, I was just punching kids and just doing all that GTA style playthrough, and it didn't disappoint, and I found it fresh even going through it again.
I really like the game too. One thing I first thought to my mind was the show Recess in Adventure Time.
Recess.
To me, honestly, like it's funny because like I didn't really see it too much as a visual novel. I think one of the biggest things that what makes it a game is there has to be some kind of challenge, and there's a challenge because I failed it at the end. So like I got like 25% of the house, 33% of the forest, 16% of the endings, and the goal is, I would assume, is to get 100% or get higher than.
Well, that's showing you how much you've explored in that playthrough. So when you play it again, those percentages will go up, and so upon multiple playthroughs, exactly.
But I really enjoyed the game. I think definitely there was some funny aspects to it. A lot of the dialogue, the art style was awesome. Like I said, Recess and definitely Adventure Time remind me of the style of storytelling.
Yeah, for sure. And we should say, Kara, the main character that you see there, is just really endearing. Like, I love all of her little qualities. I don't know if you guys played the storyline there's hints of her like anger towards Rosa, for example, and seeing her like bubbling with emotion to that. I absolutely love that. Layla and Derivative, how did you feel about this one?
Definitely Kara she's one of my favorite people because she is like me, so I like the whole like dialogue. I like it when in a visual novel the dialogue isn't, even though it's short and like simple in certain like aspects, it's not boring. Like I have a choice that I would like, that I could relate to, and I think that when you have a game like that where you have short selections but they're still relatable to different people or whatnot, I appreciate that. And I've been playing like a lot of visual novels with Potions and Pixels, so I do get to enjoy them whenever they do come up that we're playing them. The character is fun for me, full of emotion, which I like, and I did like that whenever I played through it, things just went in a different way that I thought they were gonna go. Like even when I was like trying to pick like the good route, or like the good route, or like the not trying to fight anybody or whatnot, I still ended up in a fight and I was confused. So, like, but it was it was fun. I did like the part where you do the combos and whatnot, you're like
Yes.
dodging all of that. I was like, yes, this is great.
It kept it
But
fresh throughout, right? Like there was constantly
Yes.
changes, and I think one of the other criticisms about this genre is sometimes you click one thing and it takes you off an entirely different tangent, and you say, "How was I supposed to know that? Where's the developer taking me?" But because of the atmosphere or the ambiance, the whole setup to this game, it's like totally cool if suddenly you make a decision and suddenly a monster's here, or you're fighting a killer clown or a spider. You know what I mean? Like it really
Yeah.
seems to embrace it. Vimy on Twitch, the developer, is saying about half of the content of the game is just the endings. If this game had a project manager, they would have murdered me by strangling, and it would have hurt less. Wow, I appreciate the insight into that. That's incredible. Derivative, what were your thoughts about this one?
So I would definitely say this is probably one of the most accessible visual novel style games. One, because I've played a lot of visual novels as well.
Yeah.
Prior to being on this show.
Yeah.
There tends to be some very specific things you see in a lot of them. There's a lot of text descriptors, reuse of main sprite assets.
Yes.
So like you maybe you get a little bit of face emotion, but it's very very static in that sense,
Yeah.
and it really relies on you kind of getting involved in the story in that sense. With this, it was almost like a I don't know if you've ever seen like the like motion comics.
Oh
where
yeah,
they,
like the Watchmen and
Yeah.
things like that. Yes.
Yeah, so
Good point.
I mean, like with this, like anytime you got a change in scenery, there at least it felt like there was different artwork each time.
Yeah.
There was a different drawn expression. It did a lot of there was some description stuff, but you definitely could see a lot more livelihood in the environments, and it felt less like a visual novel in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
feel-
never took it as
I
a
can
visual.
see that.
That's sort of odd to me. Like the whole time I was playing it, maybe because there was so much user input or interaction, I never really took it as a visual novel compared to the previous ones we played, or compared it to.
It's a good question. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if I like that term. I mean, it doesn't even have like game in it, so it's kind of weird to call it visual novel, right? I know that's the official classification on itch, and a lot of people have embraced this, but it's visual novel. It just sounds like a picture book in some ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't really like pull the interactive gamified piece to it. So I almost wish that we had
I
some.
played some picture books. I played some picture. This
Yeah.
was not a picture book. for
Yeah,
sure.
I always kind of thought of it
Yeah.
as little to no interactivity is what kind of denotes it as a visual novel, because there are things like this where there's a decent amount of interactivity. You've got the mini games and you've got your choice in that sense, and it feels very alive. But then you have things like Higurashi, When They Cry, that's straight up you're reading the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an alternate name for that. They call them kinetic novels, where you have no choices. You're just reading.
Well, and of
Yeah,
course, like
but,
text adventures. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying there isn't the thing about indies is that there aren't subcategories. You're just kind of lumped into these sections. So
Yeah.
you're you don't want to be a visual novel. You're visual novel.
Yeah.
That you're a story based RPG, but you're just an RPG. Like it's just we don't
Yeah.
have any of these subsets, and I think that's where we're lacking because there are games that they lump. I played an audio game a little while ago, where it was just pure, but that's classified as a visual novel. It's just, I wish there were more of a subset to these, because like he was saying, it isn't, what Tony's saying, what you guys are saying, it's not a visual novel. It is more of a game, but because it's story based and it's, I guess, drawn or, it's visually like a book, that's just how people are always going to see it as, and it's sad
Yeah.
because I don't think it fits that box, so
Great point.
so neatly.
It unfortunately, the phrase, I think it still has an issue of being stigmatized off of these Japanese adult games that are that style. And I think people are still trying to get past that. Like people are still trying to get past the idea of an anime being what it is.
Do those games you're describing, are those often referred to as visual novels as well? Like,
Oh, like the
hentai type
the
stuff.
APH games. Yeah, those are generally visual novel. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I do have a question, but it'll probably be best for the developer. One of the biggest questions I have: could you have lost this game? Because is it performance based? Meaning that I just thought I performed bad because I got 20% and 10% and 30%. But are you guys telling me that there's that was just like no one got over 50% on the first playthrough?
Well, yeah. So those percentages, I'm pretty sure that like the haunted house, for example, each playthrough I seem to get like 25% more, like based on my exploration. So I think those are just more of an indicator of like long term how much of the game you've achieved. But that is a good question. I don't think there's like a fail state. That's just kind of, it could be one of the endings. Some endings might be more satisfying than others. I mean, I played one run through the game where I didn't even meet the brother, and another version of the game where I met the older brother a couple of times.
They're just alternate timelines.
Yeah, it's almost like exploring different possibilities there, and I think that's tricky too.
He was saying that there technically wasn't any wrong decisions, or there was but like you said, he put the percentage in there so you can keep coming back and raise your percentage.
Yeah,
and that seems to be a somewhat common thing when it comes to visual novels, is that idea of the true ending or the golden ending.
Yeah.
If you were able to get that right from the get-go, like your first play, it usually relies on like little tidbits of information you get from every play to really get a full understanding of why that is the best ending.
That's a great point.
Even though you're not necessarily referencing things that have happened in each, you're getting little pieces of even like internal monologue or something along those lines that really helps you understand this is what the best outcome could have been.
That is also, I think, one of the flaws typically with visual novel games, is that if you want all the endings, there are cases where like I want to get this ending, but I have no idea what the hell the series of choices I need to make, right? I'm doing all the, like, what was that game we played?
But Mike, even in that, I would say the challenge is in that right there. The idea is that I don't know the correct decision combination to actually get the ending that I prefer.
And that's fine.
That in itself is a game.
That's fine, except if you have to replay. I'm trying to remember. I think Tony, Legend, and Layla all played this. I'm trying to remember. I know Layla, you played it. You know what I'm talking about, like that the romance visual novel between the two women. It was like
girls. Yeah. One died of old age.
Yeah, that one.
Or something. Or what's your cause?
What was it? Oh gosh.
A New Life.
Yeah. And so one thing I realized is like I totally got like I couldn't change the ending because I made one choice and then another choice, and they canceled each other. And I didn't realize that till like talking to you all. And so that part was a little bit frustrating. I haven't played all 7 endings here, so I can't speak to that aspect of it. A couple quick comments in here. Cammy is saying, they're back. Awesome. Glad to have you. I love what you're saying. I just came back into the phrase Japanese adult style. Cammy, a lot has changed since you left for this 5-minute break. We review strictly Japanese semi-pornographic games apparently now. No, we're back on regular indie game club stuff here. Vimy is also saying, the developer here is saying, people who like visual novels have been more receptive to the game than comic people. So it's a visual novel now. If this game had a marketing director, they would have chained me to a rock and had Alan Moore eat my liver every day. I love the humor Vimy's bringing in here. I can see where the connection. Also he wrote, nope. Every choice you make is the correct one. I just tried to create an incentive to have you come back.
No losing. I'm not a loser.
Yeah, no, you're not a loser.
You're not
a loser.
Okay.
He wrote, utilizing gamified elements to encourage the inherent replayability. I love that. Yeah, no, that is really cool. Any surprises that you guys had while you were playing it? I was pleasantly surprised at like how the humor in this game was solid, like really good. And I think honestly humor is one of the hardest things to do in any medium.
Oh yeah,
because it's hit and miss depending on who's receiving it. How did you all feel about that?
I liked that the very first like part of it, I could tell what's her name, the girl to go F herself,
Rosa.
The very first option, like Or what's her name? I
Was
forgot her
it
name.
Rosa, right? Like at the
Yes,
yes.
Rosa. At the
Yeah.
very beginning, it was like finally,
Rosa.
like you're going to tell all the things she's done to you, and the first thing you can say is go f yourself.
I love that.
I was very pleased by that option.
That's always a winner for you, Layla. If that is one of the
Always,
choices.
always.
So,
I love it.
I thought it was funny because the reason why I thought that it was a winning or lose situation is because at the end when I got my low percentages, there's a phrase that tells you to try again and make different choices. I thought that was saying like make better decisions. Like
gotcha. Okay.
Oh, you were so good. No, you're
like please play again. I thought it was
Thank you. You're doing it wrong.
Reassess your life choices, Tony. Quit punching all the girls you encounter every minute. Yeah. I feel ya. Yeah, I was really surprised with how different it was. Like, really surprised. Like, even that part that to Layla, what she was saying, like, right before you can meet Rosa, if you, like, tell everybody, like, why you want to be king, and you change that up, then the game you won't even see Rosa, and then you'll be in a whole different situation. So I was blown away by all these small decisions making it feel very fresh.
You know, this guy works in the tech and data side. This guy said he's going to open up a Jira ticket. Man, I did not see that one.
After my own heart.
I like the fluidity of it. I like the fluidity of the choices and the consequences, so to speak. It was just went right on in there. It wasn't like, let's pause for dramatic effect, and then it was really good. Yeah,
excellent point. And it really kept your attention.
Don't think the JoJo reference came unnoticed.
I might have not caught that. Is this JoJo's Bizarre Adventure talk we're having here? Sorry, that one's gonna go over my head, folks. I apologize. But I
like how the story was in chapters. That's one of the things too. They broke it up into different chapters. Each chapter, I don't want to say had like a different. Yeah, it had a different environment. It had the forest, I had the pyramid spacecraft, and so I did really like how it was split up. And I guess now, something that has chapters would make sense that it's a book or a novel. Now it's coming together.
Yeah, totally. And to Legend, to your point, like it was very snappy and like changed pace a lot. Like Xavier, that section that you were talking about when she was biking off to go get those things and it was like sketch drawn. It was just like the game was so good at like it grabbed you the entire time. There was not a moment to be bored in this whole thing. So I absolutely love it. It sounds like it's all getting a thumbs up I'm hearing here. Awesome.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Well, for the sake of time, we are going to have to jump to our next game. Vimy, thank you so much. We always love when developers stop by and join. Please stick around in the chat. We'll be talking about 3 more games. Definitely looking forward to more of your projects in the future, and very much appreciate you giving us some insight into the behind the scenes, and keep up the great work. Yeah, clap it up. Clap it up. Anytime we got developers in here, let's clap it up for sure. Really appreciate that. Really love it. All right, next up, folks, we are going to be talking about an area that your boy doesn't know much about. So I might need a little help here. And that is the whole idea of the swipe left, swipe right dating apps here. So the next game we got is Grimder. I'm about to update the description in the chat, but let me read this to you guys right here. This is Grimder. Does chewing loudly justify sending someone to hell? Maybe, actually, if my personal opinion. What about leaving passive-aggressive Post-it notes for your flatmates? Swipe left and right to decide who goes to which afterlife. Careful, though. Send souls to the wrong place, and heaven and hell will begin to run out of space as management on either side slows down to deal with the incorrect entries. Also, you'll get some pretty rude text from the custodians on either side. This, we should say, is a game jam game. It was one of the Ludum Dare. I hope I am pronouncing that right, Derivative. I'm going. I think that.
Yeah, I used to call it Ludum Dare. It's Ludum Dare.
Okay, cool. Ludum Dare. That is a famous game jam, and so this was a product of that. Of what is it? Ludum Dare was at 42. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was 42 if you want to check that out. So there was unfortunately not a video of this, but I was able to pull from another streamer here, so you can kind of see some of the gameplay. As you can see, the basic idea is very similar or simple. Swipe left or swipe right. Folks, what were your thoughts about Grimder?
I think it was funny in the aspect that the cards that they provide you the how they died, as well as a list of traits for them. It's very funny. Some of the stuff was like he drowned because he drank too much. No, he died because he drank too much water, and I'm like, I guess that means he drowned. But there was one. There's some things when you find out is that the deaths and the qualities underneath that card, they almost seem randomly generated.
Yes.
And they provide funny context depending on what they line up as. So there was one that said the death is that he repeatedly skips. But at the same, he skips everywhere. He's like, oh yeah, I skip everywhere. But then it says that he kicks puppies. And I was like, well, could it be the fact that he kicks puppies is because he was skipping everywhere? So
I love how you were reading into that.
He's just trying to walk. He's just tripping over puppies.
Yeah, it's those puppies' fault.
I would encourage people to play it multiple times when the deaths are there, but the qualities that these people have are randomly generated. And you start realizing it provides a totally different context. Like when the person, like I said, when they skip everywhere and they said they kick puppies, I'm like, well, duh, if they're skipping everywhere, of course they're going to kick puppies.
Yeah, I got some crazy ones. Like I got one like somebody who abolished slavery, but was like also like homophobic or something. I think.
Yeah, I got one of those.
And it was just like,
Yeah, what was it? It was like the way he shakes his protein shakes or something like that.
Sideways, yes, instead of up and down.
Okay, yeah. So we got a lot of similar ones here. I'm seeing one that was.
But then that's what you do though. Then it's like, well, where does he go? Like, where do you want to take it?
Yeah, Legend.
Like,
so what?
Evolving enough.
It made me
Like,
laugh so much with the choices because like I think I had 70 and above like percentage on it, but like it was one of those ones where it's like, wait, what do I do? Like, because they have like one or two that really aren't that bad. It was like something like I don't know, snorts or something like that, but everything else wasn't super bad, and so I just send them to to heaven. They were like, and God was like, really? And I'm like, what?
Yes. And you want to get to know God a little bit more, and you're just like,
the gauges for? Like, what were the gauges on the two sides of the screen? I played it as like swipe left, swipe right.
I think it was just letting you know how many in that round you sent to heaven.
Exactly.
And hell.
So those were the meters for heaven and hell. So if you swiped, what was it, right to heaven, it would fill up that heavenly meter, and if you swipe left, it would fill up the hellfire and brimstone.
And the gaming aspect of it is that if you filled up like one or more gauge, it provides you with like hey, you send most of your people to hell or something.
Yeah, if you incorrectly.
Yeah,
Layla, you want to talk about that?
Cool. Yeah, you're supposed to make a match. So like your job is to judge these individuals correctly, whether they belong in hell or they belong in heaven, and you'll get a total percentage of who you sent to the right place at the end of the round.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's hard because you're kind of reading into what God, so to speak.
Gotcha. I was just having fun. So that's one thing I would tell people. I didn't really understand that much of the game. It is a tender thing. You swipe left, hell or heaven, and you read it based off the qualities. And I had a ton of fun doing that. So I didn't really notice that you could, that there was a gamified aspect to it.
Yeah, and thank you, Derivative, for also saying that this is name your price.
Name your price. Yeah, there you go.
Free name your price on. I will say that my thoughts on this game, it's a clever little game, but you should play it in a short amount of time, I would say, because this game will essentially infinitely run on, and if you play it for too long, I think it overstays its welcome. Which to me, again, for a game jam game, this is really great, and I could see this being fleshed out more, or I could see there being a bit more to it. But definitely, I would say, if you do like 2 playthroughs of it or so,
Yeah.
you get like the full feeling of it.
And you can't keep going on forever. The idea is that there is rounds and it stops, so you can stop. After you play the first one, you can stop or play 3 or 4 or 5 times, have fun with it, you know.
Yeah, and we should say there is repetition at some point. You're going to start seeing the folks.
Absolutely.
I like this cause of death we're seeing here was the slowest of 3 friends running away from rampaging cows. Yeah.
So honestly, the only thing I didn't like about this game was the fact that there was a right and wrong answer.
I feel you on that.
I think if that wasn't there and you had to just kind of live with your choices, it's like, did I really just send someone to hell for answering their phone at a movie theater?
Oh yeah.
Were there any choices you guys felt guilty about? Derivative, I totally feel you on that, because that part kind of like, because that's where the gamified portion of it is like, I'm trying to get into the mind of God, aka the developer, you know, that mix right there. And yeah, were there any, Layla Legend, were there any like choices you made that you were like really surprised? For example, like we saw one here, mixing M&Ms and Skittles. Is that grounds for going to hell to you guys?
Yes.
Yes?
Why would you mix the 2 together?
All right, Legend.
That doesn't even make sense. It's like chewy and chocolatey. What is that? You just like take a Tootsie Roll and like roll it into like.
I was gonna say, what if it's like strawberry Skittles with M&Ms? You got the chocolate strawberry thing going on.
No, but it's still chewy though, and then like chocolate melts so quickly. Like I don't know. Like I would swipe you.
At all.
There's some funny things that you could go to hell for. Like there's some things that are like, oh, this guy's like super nice. He loves everyone.
Yeah.
But then it goes like skips in line at grocery store. I'm like, yes.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Oh God, this is terrifying.
Skittles and just have a bowl of S&Ms. It does not sound good at all.
It does not. It does not. Offer that as a
hold on with them.
Right? Have your kids start saying that you want some S&Ms? Like that's that's exactly right.
My mind is going into a entirely different place, and we're gonna skip over that right now.
No, I liked it. I liked it because it was just like a no nonsense swipe right, swipe left. You know, I did see it in the like, well, like some of the choices I didn't feel guilty about because like.
I love it.
You know, that was the whole point of the game.
Legend,
like,
did you send more people to hell than heaven?
You have to think like on a regular basis. Like if you would deal with this person like on a regular basis, after all, it'd be like that, that Fran Drescher laugh, like she laughs better now, but it's like that. Like how long do you really want to? Can you really put up with that? Or that one episode of what is it? The guy who's like How I Met Your Mother. I didn't really watch that show, but how like. When he brought up like people's like little like didn't know she's a loud chewer, and then all of a sudden like you hear he's a loud chewer. Like to me that's what this game was. It was just like well yeah I would actually.
I can imagine Legend in the afterlife here.
Like the guy who was skipping and kicking dogs. I'm not gonna lie, I sent him to heaven because I was like, there's got to be you're skipping all the time because you're happy. And there's got to be some kind of casualties. So
poor. I love here in the chat. Cammy is writing crispy, chewy, chocolatey M and skits. I want some S. Also writing Japanese adult games and S&Ms. Wild stream tonight. Yeah, this is how we do it, folks. This is how we do it. I love it. And Vimmy's also writing, this is like one really good small part of a bigger game. Actually, Vimmy, it would almost be like a cool mini game for King of the CUL-DE-SAC or a feature game if you were doing it in this style. You know what I mean? Like kind of one of these like quick opportunities. Because I feel like this worked best as a quick opportunity. Angelic Layla, were you angelic while you played this? Were you sending folks to heaven, or were you like Legend and sending them all to hell?
I felt bad about sending people to hell for like small to me it didn't seem like it was a reason to go to hell.
Some of them were just petty reasons.
The first one, literally, yeah. So my first time around, or my first round, actually, God was like, really? Because I kept sending everybody to heaven, but I got like a 70%. And then the second round, I was like, fine. And I started sending people to hell, and then Lucifer was like, really? And I'm like, what the? Y'all make up your minds!
Yeah. There's no way to satisfy them.
I did feel bad, though. I was like, how do I win, though? Like, I would have said, like, do the perfect match. So.
Yeah.
It was fun though. I did feel bad.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to there. I'm looking at this. Wears socks with jandals. Clip their nails at work. Scared of birds. Return friends' borrowed items in terrible condition. But they remembered their friend's birthday. Does that person go to heaven or hell? I'll have us all answer that one.
Went to hell.
Oh, I might be in that boat too. There was too many bad qualities there. Legend, heaven or hell for that one?
I don't know, man. Who remembers birthdays though? Like birthdays are birthdays.
Gab was like, absolutely not.
Oh man, I'm terrified if you guys are in charge of those pearly gates there.
It'd be a problem. I have a problem. They'd be like, no, sorry.
Well, some of the choices, it's like they're not really doing anything bad. They're just getting like you have to send them to hell for mediocrity. You're just like,
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think there's any like outright murders or anything. I love this one right here. This might be me right here. Vegan, but talked about it all the time. I don't talk about it all the time.
Yes.
Let me ask you guys that one. What do you do to those? Is that grounds for heaven or hell?
Well, being vegan is not an offense. Talking about it all the time.
Vegan should send you straight to heaven.
That's an offense.
Yeah, being holier than thou about it, then
Yeah.
Oh man,
right to the fires.
I'm sweating right here.
Powers. If they have powers, that's cool.
They're Scott Pilgrim vegan powers
Yeah.
for sure. Sure, right there. Yeah, King of the Nerds is saying, if I go to hell, can I have the Doomslayer suit and a super shotgun? Ooh, important question. Important question. This is the prequel, apparently, to Doom Eternal here. Awesome. Well, we still have 2 more games to go through. Do you guys have any other thoughts on Grimder before we move on?
All I will say is this was made in 12 hours total, it looks like, because it was 11 to 5 through the weekend when this was made. So
Thank you for having that
Oh, it was
context.
made in 12 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
I liked
would
it.
have played
It
it
was good.
longer if there was like music background, probably. But that's about it. I mean, I enjoyed it for the time that I was playing.
Least likely to fart in heaven.
Legends.
What, by eating vegan food? I had vegan the other day, and I'm like, no.
So it sounds like overall people were quite pleased with this one. Yes. Okay, awesome. Good Sport saying, I think giving up cheese is automatic heaven material. Cammy saying, Wisconsin would like your location. Love it. Awesome. Cool. Well, that, my friends, for those watching, is Grimder. It is available on itch right now. It is name your own price for that one, so definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. The next game we are going to discuss is the pizza situation. And again, we want to give a big shout out to the pizza situation on Twitch. The developer is in the building. Super excited. We'll wave there. And hopefully you're still with us. I know you've been with us for an hour here. So hopefully you've been able to stick around. Hey, there we go. Pizza situation is in the building here. So awesome. Very excited to talk about the pizza situation. So let me read a little bit of a description right here. We should say that this is a demo of a larger game in development. Please, pizza situation, if we're misspeaking or if you have any inside information you want to reveal, please feel free to drop it in that Twitch chat. So the pizza situation, it's a social network simulator where you have to investigate and manipulate to get your ultimate goal. Pizza. This game is a parody and critique of online culture with lots of curious characters, choices, and humor. There is, let me read a little bit more just to give a little more context here. Play as Ronnie Mozzarella, an obsessive pizza freak who is very excited to go to this Saturday's university freshman party, where a very special pizza will be served. Seeing how the event page gets flooded with more and more attendance, he foresees how 6 individuals are going to eat the 6 pizza slices, and that's something he cannot allow. Now he has only one goal: to prevent those 6 people from going to the party. How? Without stepping out of his room. Using social networks, you'll have to investigate, manipulate, stalk, and blackmail to obtain your precious pizza. We were talking about visual novels momentarily, just a moment ago. This to me is kind of, I wish there was a name for this type of genre, because we've been playing a lot of games similar to this. I'm thinking even of like Family or like Another Lost
Yeah.
Phone type games, or Orwell, if people have played games like that. Games that have you like digging through databases, digging through like simulated computer environments. Tony?
I took it as
Yeah.
I took it as a in my notes I put it was a desktop and social media simulator.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For a second, it could have been an ARPG. Was it ARG or something?
Oh, like an alternate reality game?
Yeah. I'm like, is it real? It's not. But no, overall, I really enjoyed the game. The idea is that you're actually jumping between different social media apps to essentially get or not get to the girl, but talk to the girl that you happen to see in your dreams. You actually go through her boyfriend and a few other people. I think one of the odd things about the game though is that the social media app, there was like 3 different. We had a separate app for chatting, a separate app for Facebook or like the profile, and a separate app for the school page. But other than that, man, I really enjoyed the game. It was really funny, definitely very funny. Interesting gameplay for sure. I really like the desktop social media simulator.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's like, and see, that's where I'm having a little trouble with like genre definitions here, because some games are like now simulating phones, or Legend, you had that awesome recommendation that I still want to play that's like an audio only game. There's a lot of like unique games that are taking things in different directions, or Her Story, for example, I would say is kind of adjacent to
Yeah,
this
it's like an
category.
investigation game is what I would call it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the method of the investigation, and I think this is really interesting in that regard.
I think this was something that would be a good label for. It's like a social hacking.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, the pizza situation is saying, yeah, genre-wise, it's an oddball. Yeah, I think that's a little difficult.
Creep, though. Like that dude, the main character is a creep. Like you literally like social media stalk this girl. I didn't know what to. Oh, that all right. So that's another thing too. I'm not gonna lie. I'll come clean. I had to use the walkthrough at a certain point that was included with the game because some of the stuff I was a little confused on where to go next. Like one thing, when you take a picture of the girl and sort of, I guess, send it to her boyfriend, instead I decided to like all her pictures like a normal creep. And I didn't know that was the answer.
You mean that's not how you get girls in 2020?
You don't go like 3 months back and like a photo randomly?
Yeah,
You gotta, like,
exactly.
all their pictures, but no, apparently you had to like save her picture because guys definitely do that, and then they look up the location of where they took the and you send it to her boyfriend. Like it was sort of weird, man, but it was definitely fun.
Yeah,
this was
Very
this was
protective of
not
his
even
pizza.
borderline, but straight up doxing.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because like you could say like some women go hard. Like for me, it was like it was sort of like a guy playing it from like some like what you hear generally is the stereotypical like psycho ex-girlfriend. You know, you don't really hear about a lot of guys doing this, but they do this just as hard.
I like it.
If not harder.
I like your analysis, not I like creepy stalking. Just to be clear for the internet, I'm sitting there like I like it. Just to be clear, I'm agreeing with Legend's point. I don't want any fan mail.
Yeah, like it was crazy. It was crazy. I thought it was fun. Like it was a little. It was definitely different. I liked my favorite part. I have to say was when I actually like opened up the game. Who do you want, mummies?
Oh, like the opening, like dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, just opening the game and have it say the
Oh,
pizza situation,
yeah.
and then like when I was moving my mouse, it was all like 3D and like the pizza moved, and I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, like moving.
Yeah, the menu screen was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
Say that again,
Am I-
Tony.
You what?
Am I the only person who had to use the walkthrough?
By walkthrough, do you mean that part, like one of the?
There's a journal.
was
The
this-
journal helped a lot, but I had to go.
yeah,
over-
I know there was a part where
Yeah.
you had to look up the address, and that was really confusing. I think
Yeah.
a lot of us were kind of like
I
stumped
couldn't
on
find
how
that
to
address.
get.
I added all of her friends.
Yeah, I
and
think
tried
we
to
all
look
got a
at
little.
their-
Oh,
look at their
yeah.
stuff. I
Like,
literally,
yeah.
yeah.
What I love
didn't
though.
lose at this game either. Haha, I got you guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some tricky parts to it. I do love the investigative feeling though. And just for those who are watching who have not played this, the fundamental actions that you're doing, and this is why I love this like emerging genre, because I feel like as close as the average person like us is going to get to like detective stuff is like digging down like Wikipedia, Yelp reviews, and like IMDb, right? Like it's like, who is that actor that appeared in this movie and this one? And I feel like, am I the only one who like naturally, I get really excited about that sort of things, you know what I mean? Like digging through all these little things. And
no, I do too. I don't do it often, but there are some times where you're just like, especially, you know, my age, you know, I don't like, I know the guy's face and I'm just like, like, or I know his name, but I can't picture like what he looks like. So you're just like, next thing you know, you're like down the rabbit hole. It's like, oh, that's right, he was in this movie.
Exactly.
I remember that one time, and I saw that.
So you feel like you're on like Law and Order just because you can name. I love
games like that because I love shows like that. I watch those shows all the time. Like, it's funny because King of the Nerds, he's in chat. He's always like, dude, like, you know, that's kind of scary, you know, because I'm like, you know, you wouldn't really hide a body like that. I'm just saying, right? You know. There's like this other game too on Ichigo that I wanted that's sort of based on that too, where you actually do have to hide a body, but that's another topic. But this game was just so much fun. I loved.
You're gonna have to follow up
and
on
the
that.
colors were cool. Like it wasn't like. You know, it was so transitional and smooth. And I see what you were saying, Tony, about how, like, it was, here's the chat, here's the Facebook, here's the thing. It kind of reminded me of sort of, like, the stories, you know, the little bubble thing. I always have, like, thousands of tabs up. So having, like, a different, you know, thing wasn't really that much of a nuisance for me. But I loved how the premise was just basically, like you think you're not just stalking this girl, but you're mostly just trying to, like get pizza. Like that's like the whole thing of it. It's like it's not, you know, the way that we're making the game sound is like you're just you're just craving like the chick on social media with
it's lighthearted in that way. Just to be clear to everybody watching, this is
what you're doing is that you're trying to manipulate the situation so that you're getting it all like for yourself.
Exactly.
Like you're trying to keep people away from it. So you're like, yo, go girl, like I heard he was talking about you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it's kind of like that. That's the premise of it. So you're being deviant in a way and looking at these people because, like, you know, they're usually the ones who get it. You're trying to get like just that action. Like that's your prize.
Yeah, and you have to have the receipts. We should say that this could also be called like Receipts the Game, because the whole like fundamental action as like a detective game is that you actually have to save like things like you can right click on like a post, an address, a picture, whatever it may be, and you can save it, and then you can like, it almost kind of reminded me of like Phoenix Wright, kind of like almost like presenting evidence in a certain way. And I love how investigation games like require you to actually prove something. You know, I'm a big fan of people who watch this know of you know, like Family and Rivals, and so this gave me those kind of feels as well, and so I like the whole idea of being able to share that stuff.
Yeah, and everything that you saved had like a certain like size to it, so you couldn't just save everything. Yeah, because like fake photos were like worth a lot more, and eventually you just fill up, so you have to like actually delete clues as you're going on.
That's a good point. I did wonder about like the size of the items. I didn't dig into it too deeply, but did you like analyze it in a way where like the photos did take up more? Like
it seemed like space? Photos took up a lot more, locations took up a little bit more, and like straight up just names were not much.
Okay, got it. That's good to know. I'd be curious about that kind of mechanic, because I think the whole idea there is not to overwhelm you and to force you to kind of delete stuff and not
to see what's most important in your trip to get this pizza, because this is like your life right now. Like this is your main goal, your focus, you know. And and it was just I just liked everything about it. I'm not a big fan of simulation games. I'm really not. I think it depends on like, I don't know, I'm just not a fan. I want to like them, I just don't. I just think it's weird, like certain things you just, like, why do you got to pretend to do that? Like, you know, I guess the fun of it and the concept of it, you know, let's cook a hot pot. Let's, you know, put it in the thing. Like, I guess, like, or, you know, let's live someone else, like The Sims and stuff. I just don't get that, those type of games. They're not usually the genre that I pick or that I watch or that I whatever. So, this was a new kind of like area for me, and this is the type of simulation game I can get behind. You know, I think there needs to be more of these, because there's too much, I think, in my opinion, from what I know, like you're this person and get married and you have these friends and you know what I mean, like those type of things. I like this kind where it's more like investigatory and it's pizza like
It's pizza. That's the tagline.
Pizza.
Yeah, I
I
enjoyed this type of simulation game because it was funny.
it was so funny.
Yeah.
Most of the things I come across is like you have to do this very specific action at this very specific time, and the hell if I know what that action is. But definitely this one it was funny. It was fun. So even when I did have to look at the walkthrough, like I cheated. It was still fun to follow along.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And as a New Yorker, I appreciate that it wasn't a Chicago deep dish.
That's gonna have to be Courtney's next question.
It looks so good though. Like
they know how to make pizza. That's not how you make pizza.
Well, yeah, Buffalo is like, isn't Buffalo like secretly like I think has the most pizza places like per capita? See, that's a random ass fact that I like Wikipedia'd late one night and somehow has stuck with me. A couple comments here. The pizza situation wrote, as the game goes on, there will also be a lot more exploration of what the consequences to all these actions are. Tony Tyga saying that's dope, definitely for sure. Cammy saying consequences for doxing on the internet? You're not doing it right then. That's scary, Cammy. I love it. Vimy saying that UI looks crazy juicy. I love it. Cammy's saying the more conclusive the evidence, the more space it takes up. Good balance. Yeah, if that's indeed the case, that I think that's a really cool approach too. Although I guess you could also manipulate that in a way by just saving a lot of stuff and seeing what.
Well, Twitch streamers don't play a lot of these games, and they should. I find that you find more of these games on YouTube. YouTubers play games like these a lot.
I think it's because of the ability to edit, because there's just so much like going on with like so much text.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you can just edit it down. It's like, this isn't.
I think this is definitely. I love the transition of it. It was fun. It was just. I think maybe it's more like the age group though. I think I would have liked them to be a little older. In my opinion, I think it was a little too young for all this kind of like shady stuff. I don't know, like it just seemed like it wasn't like the right. Made me a little.
That's when most of drama and shady stuff happens.
And then if you think too, like in this day and age, I could see like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I'm not stalking anybody like to start any type of pizza at this age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have other things to worry about. Like other than that. Like I feel like that's the mindset of someone that may do that or think that way it's in the perfect like age group.
Good point. And we should say that this is that's a great point. And then we should say that this is like outright, they say, like a satirical take on these types of personalities in this drama. Layla, I love your comment here. You wrote, I had a lot of fun playing and I was shocked and worried at how fast I was able to find things.
Yes, I was, because like on Family and Rivals, I was struggling. Like it took me forever to like go through the notes and whatnot. But the minute you put social media up, I'm like, let me go to this person's page. This is her friend over here, so she definitely got the information on this page. Like,
I love it.
Like, oh, I'm a little worried.
But I don't find the walkthrough cheating. I think if you need to use a walkthrough, if you have to watch a playthrough, that's what they're there for. That's why people make these things. Like, yeah. So you're not cheating, Tony. Like that's what it's for. If you get stuck, if you don't know.
Yeah, and Tony, what do you mean?
Don't be a quitter. Like,
exactly.
You gotta look at the answer at school.
No, Tony, but like, what do you mean by like the specific? Because I don't like feel like you like. Huh? Yeah, what do you mean by like the walkthrough? Like, what do you like? You watched other people, or you like?
No. There's literally a text. So when you download it, there's literally a text file that tells you, or like it's either a text file or a Word document.
It's a PDF.
It actually gives you like a walkthrough of the game.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
it
see
doesn't
that.
get real specific. Like push this. It's pretty much the same stuff that you find in that journal icon, but just a little bit more detailed. So like one thing I was super stuck on was the idea is that I showed her boyfriend the picture of her with the necklace. Boom, I proved it to you.
Yeah.
But then you had, apparently through the walkthrough, I figured out you had to like save the location and date of where she had it just to prove to him that she took it recently. Yeah, I would never figure that out.
Yeah, I got through that part because I think after a while it like popped up in my journal. Like I got confused about that for a minute there too, and then something in the journal popped up and it was like an indicator Or maybe
My
it was the ex-boyfriend. Gosh, that ex-boyfriend. You gotta let it.
Yeah.
You gotta let it go, bro. Like, don't be doing those cringy posts on there. Those
That
Yeah.
was weird, man.
those young
He got
folks.
blocked real quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, ouch. The pizza situation on Twitch writing, yeah, it's totally fine to look it up. That's why we put it there. Yeah, appreciate that.
I could not get past the address part though. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. I was. That's the one part that I couldn't find.
Yeah.
Or the street name. Like, I found the room number and, like, you know, which residence it was, but I couldn't find the street.
Yeah, and we should again say that this is in development. Yeah, maybe pizza situation on if you don't mind putting in that Twitch chat like a little bit more information about when we could get the final game, and if you have
I
any updates
would
on it.
stream this like, dude, like you don't even know. I'm so excited. Like I didn't have time to stream it this week because of just the other things that I had going on. But because I was a forgetful Nancy. I forgot some things that I was adulting, and yeah. So, but I definitely like I'm so excited. It is just a demo. So I would definitely say it's alpha. If you're getting issues, bugs, like don't just keep playing it. Like,
Yeah,
I had a smooth playthrough. I didn't have any problems with my PC. I think any PC could possibly handle this game. It's very smooth. It didn't really take too much pressure on anything that I had. It didn't back me up, nothing. It's a relatively small file, but I am so excited for the rest. I can't believe where you come. Like,
sure.
I liked it a lot. I was so like when I was scrolling through that pizza and that face and the way she was like eating it, I was like, that's not right. I liked it. I'm really excited for the future of this. I really am.
For sure. And a shout out to a couple people in here. Thanks so much, Bravkovsky, for following. Also, a shout out to, on Facebook, Brett Shoemaker, Connie Wilson for following, Hippie Ash on Twitch for following, Tyrannade for following on Twitch. Thank you so much to all of you. And yeah, Pizza Situation saying, thanks to Bravlovsky's comment that the art and animation look great. Saying that I really appreciate good game art. No, this is really cool. One thing I'd like is a little bit more background about this whole like dream sequence, because I can't tell. Does the main character have like psychic future? Like what is that whole thing where you can kind of see into the future? Clairvoyancy?
Like pizza shining?
Pizza shining. Yes. Because like you wake up and you've never met these people, but you've had a dream about a woman eating this pizza, to take it to another creepy level. So yeah, your character kind of sees into the future there. The pizza situation on Twitch saying, yeah, to be honest, we didn't have a budget to animate more for now. LOL. Yeah, well, I think we all love the animation.
Yeah, for sure.
And style here.
Dude, like I said, as soon as I opened the game, when I saw the pizza thing, I was like, ooh, like, I'm just silly like that. But I was like, oh, look at, like, it's, like, moving. Like, ooh. Like, I liked it.
Yeah.
It really,
I love how colorful it was.
Yes. Yeah, it's so colorful.
For sure. I think one of the other benefits of these type of simulations, or kind of hacking simulations, as Xavier said, is that one of the cool things about it is we're all so used to using these social media platforms that in many ways it's like second nature, right? Like there's a lot of things. So I could see this potentially being a little challenging maybe for people who have not used those, but I have trouble imagining that they would be attracted to something like this necessarily in the first place. But for those who are familiar, as most people our generation are, with this type of stuff, it's pretty easy, as Layla was saying, like boom, 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 suddenly you're investigating, you know who's dating who's this, all of that stuff.
I personally have been trying to find an intern for my social media accounts. But... Definitely.
I'm thinking about taking a break recently. Has anybody been feeling that way? I do more social media for potions and pixels.
I need to take a break to get on. I need to break on.
You're not on social media? Oh man, yeah.
I just made a TikTok, so
Yeah, I've been trying to
yes, we know where you're going.
I forget for days on end. I need to be better about it.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that, I always think I'm totally going to schedule a tweet, and then I forget to, like, schedule the tweet because like you guys know me, I'm an awkward Joe, and I love it, you know. So my streams are messy. Like I'm not always on time. Like I'm always like, well, I don't want to like schedule a tweet and then I'm late. It's like, whoops, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Well, all you guys are like celebrities. And I'm just Tony. I know Xavier, man. He's the poppin' celebrity over here.
Whatever.
Tony Tiger 90. Don't sell yourself short, my friend.
One day.
Look at Derivative with those gamer glasses going right there. I love it, man. We should screenshot that and get that on an advertisement there. We just need some like Mountain Dew and Doritos behind you, and the whole look is complete here. I love it. Awesome. Well, any other last words about the pizza situation before we move on to our final game of the night?
Definitely a good experience. I enjoyed it.
Same. I'm looking forward to for the whatever else comes out after it.
Yeah.
So I can continue to play so I can find that address.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for to the developers for jumping in here on Twitch. We really appreciate you taking the time to join the conversation with us. Let's clap it up for the pizza situation developers. It's hard to say pizza with a grill on. I don't know if let's clap it up for Michael, who's really struggling here. Thank you. I do a lot of hard work for the show. It's thank you. Cammy's saying burritos are yummy. I don't know if Cammy is trying to get the sequel, the burrito situation. Yeah. That sounds really interesting. I love it. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the final game of the night. This game is... I want to make sure I get this. I don't know. I know we had some of the devs, I think, retweet this, but I don't know if they're going to be joining us tonight. But this game is Lenna's Inception, or would you guys pronounce it Lenna's Inception? How do you...
Let me look at
How do you guys pronounce that one?
I said Lenna.
Lenna?
Lenna.
Oh,
Lenna?
Okay.
Yeah, I did Lenna.
Okay. Well, so...
Or no, I'm sorry. I did Lena's when I was telling people, but I
I did,
I read it as Lenna. I just want to be specific.
Yeah, so...
Is there a correct name? Can someone like put that phonetically? Is there a developer in here?
Yeah, if I don't know, if you guys want to vote on what we call this game, it's either Lenna's Inception or Lena's Inception. Let us know in the chat how we should be pronouncing this. Let me give a quick description of this game. We should say that this game was also part of the itch bundle that we've been steadily going through. I want to say that our little crew here might have put more of a dent in the racial justice itch bundle than any other crew I've seen online. So shout out to us, the true heroes of 2020. Right? Thank you. We do it for you all. Let me read Lenna's Inception right here. The description. A new hero rises. The kingdom of is glitching. The evil chairman of the Bankers Guild has captured the prince, opening the way for destruction at the hands of the archangels. With the hero eliminated and the world horribly unraveling, reluctant tutor Lenna must step up to save the kingdom. But it won't be easy. All she has to guide her is the voice of the deceased elder, and he seems to know more than he's letting on. Explore a dangerous island filled with dungeons and defeat the 8 archangels to bring order to a glitched-out kingdom in this top-down Zelda-like action-adventure, playable in 8-bit and 32-bit pixel art styles. We should also say it does have local co-op, so you can play this 2 players total. And it has multiple endings, multiple boss forms, procedural generations for the dungeons. So they said you won't see everything in a single playthrough. This one, we should say our first 3 recommendations were from Legend of the Star. Shout out to Legend of the Star. Thank you for those awesome recommendations. And then this one comes to us from our very own Tony here. So Tony, shout out for this recommendation.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. So let's start with you, Tony. What were your thoughts? What attracted you to wanting to play this game this week too?
All right. So I played a previous game by an indie developer called Doom and Destiny, and where it was a self-aware RPG. And we made fun of all like the Final Fantasy stuff and XYZ. So when I looked at this game, it was funny because I slowly began to realize that it was a self-aware Zelda type of action game.
Yeah.
Really cool that it went from like was it 16-bit to no, it was 8-bit to 32-bit.
Yeah.
By the way, I can tell you right now, going from 1080p to 4K, I can notice the difference a little bit. Going from 8-bit to 32-bit is a huge ass difference.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was like, man, that's crazy. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the game. One thing that was there were certain things that I enjoyed better than the Zelda games, like straight up. Like the procedurally generated world and the procedurally generated, randomly generated dungeons were really cool. So none of us had the same exact playthrough. It's impossible. So that was really cool. There was a CRT, so yeah, it's old school 90s baby over here.
The filter?
There's a CRT visual mode.
I love that.
The music was when you switched over to the 32-bit, it had 80s synth music, so that was really cool. Sort of like
I didn't notice. Did the music change when you changed the visuals?
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Oh man, that's what I was saying. This was a. So
Okay,
it wasn't
awesome.
just like the visual. No, it switched from like 8-bit to 32-bit. And you went to 8-bit, that thing was like. Yeah, it looked like it was played on a keyboard or something. You go to freaking 32-bit, that thing was like a full 80s synthesized music. It was really awesome.
That's awesome.
Definitely. So the object of the game is that you're going through. It's sort of a Zelda-like game, and yes, it is self-aware. A Zelda-like character does appear in the game,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of play on some of the themes of Zelda. Essentially, essentially the idea is that you're going through different dungeons and you're defeating different bosses to accomplish a goal, which is very similar to Zelda. One thing I thought was funny too is that what was that? It was about banking. Oh yeah, Bankers Guild. So the evil guys are the Bankers Guild. Bankers.
Yeah.
Guild. And I was like, man, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I work for I work for Bank. But definitely, let's see. There's cool things about this too. You can take screenshots in the game, so you can actually take screenshots and put it into a folder. It was a little hard to navigate to the folder, but I thought that was really awesome. There was other like things that happened in the game. Like there was Goldilocks and the Three Bears appeared in the game. There was other small things that were funny. Like it was a self-aware Zelda.
I like that part. I guess it was Goldilocks that we were trapping. There was a section about trapping her. Like, 'cause she kept on breaking and entering.
Another thing is that you had potions, but honestly, I couldn't figure out like what the potions actually benefited you. There's a beer potion. There's a beer potion that disorients you, where you couldn't see. The whole screen went blurry. There was a hallucinogen potion where it would spawn random enemies. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So definitely, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. There's 8 bosses in total. I got about to 4, but definitely I plan on getting up to the other 4 soon.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'll say I think I'm around the same boat of like where you are in the length of the game. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of it. Link to the Past is one of my absolute favorite games of all time. It's a phenomenal experience.
You don't want me to compare and contrast, because like I play Link to the Past, I can tell you this one was a little bit more intuitive. Like there's some things that they
No, I'm not.
Link to the Past, I love that game, but you sort of have to have a walkthrough with it. Like you have to like go from one dungeon to in this game. So here's something I would tell to the people in the audience. In this game, everything was linear. Even though it was randomly generated, it was linear. Every item that you needed to defeat the boss was within the actual dungeon that you were in. So you didn't have to go like the actual story in the game itself, you can open up a map and it would tell you where to go.
Yeah.
That's completely opposite from Link to the Past.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, but I love Link to the Past too.
Yeah, Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds. I don't know if this is controversial here, but I'm actually more partial to the isometric Zelda games than I am to the more modern 3D
same.
There's something about those qualities, even including like Link's Awakening.
I mean, come on, CDI Zelda or bust.
CDI Zelda. Oh,
CDI.
yeah.
Oh man, CDI.
Derivative with a hipster reference. I love it.
Yeah.
If for those watching,
Yeah.
there was a brief moment where that was Philips, right? Yeah, Philips CDI.
Yeah.
A moment
How do you know that?
where a
Yeah.
Nintendo
How many
licensed.
people in the chat know about that?
Yeah, look it up, folks. That's a great reference there.
Yeah, the
There was
CDI. Wow.
Nintendo licensed. That was the last time Nintendo licensed things, I think, in that way, because they realized how horrible of a mistake it was. I still want to play that for.
Well, I think it was kind of like a sorry we screwed you over a bit, because they were working on a disk drive for Nintendo. So they were working on one, and Sony was working on one for them. I think they decided when I think was it Toshiba that did CDI? Panasonic.
No, Panasonic did 3DO. Philips. Wasn't it Philips?
Did CDI, right.
Yeah.
Philip. So Philip was going to do it for him. They decided against it, and I think as consolation they said, here, you can use one of our licenses for however much time, you can make a game out of it. Obviously, Sony was the other one, and they disagreed on that, and that's why we had the PlayStation.
Yeah. There's a great book that I know Tony is a huge fan of called Console Wars, and it was also a CBS All Access documentary.
And there's a movie. So, I mean, I read the book several times, loved it back and forth. But in case anybody wants to, just skip forward, just get to the movie. The movie's actually on CBS All Access.
Yeah, for sure. Check that out. I think we're losing a legend, Layla and Xavier, with our Philips CDI talk.
No, I was trying.
Layla, how? Sorry, go ahead.
I was looking in the chat. I was sending Mimi off, and they were heading out. So that's what
awesome. See, thank you guys. You guys are doing the real work. We're just sitting here goofing off and talking about CDI and just hoping other nerds in the chat will recognize our historic knowledge. Where you guys are actually doing all the diligent work of thanking everybody for being here. What else? I would love to hear some more thoughts on this. I love Tony's analysis of it being like self-aware and subversive.
I liked it. Again, it's just another type of genre that I don't generally play. I feel like such a horrible, I'm trying to become more of a well-rounded indie gamer, so I'm diving in more into, RPGs, MMOs, MMORPGs, retro games, I'm trying to, know my brand, you know what I'm saying? And I liked it. I was pleasantly surprised, it totally gave me, Zelda vibes. I loved the 3D graphics of it. The little dude, she just looked like she just kind of floated. And she was kind of walking down the thing. I really, I love anything where the female is the main character. That's always a pleasant surprise for me. I don't think there's enough of it going on, but I liked it. It was really cool. I have to say, it wasn't normally the type of game that I would play, but I was pleasantly surprised by just the dungeons, the graphics, the how easy it was to just sort of to play the game. The accessibility was so super simple. It was really nice. I really liked it.
Hey, Legend, you're not a teacher, are you?
Nope.
Okay, someone else was. But yeah, the lady's a teacher. So she's a teacher, and she has a group of school children. But she's a teacher who's a heroic person.
Yeah, your first weapon was a ruler. At least in my playthrough.
Yep. Yeah, slapping people. Yeah, exactly. And that's the initial motivation. The school. We tend to talk spoilers here, so this is literally the opening spoiler. So hopefully that's not gonna freak you out.
And remember, you're not gonna have the same. It'll probably be impossible for you to have the same exact gameplay.
That's what I liked about it too. Was that for each of us, it would be different. We would definitely have. One of my favorite parts about talking about this game, even though I will say that I didn't really play much of it. What I did get to dive into though is that we were all going to have different opinions of it, different playthroughs of it, which is really I like games like that. It's the same game, but it's got these little twists and turns. It's cool. I like this.
I totally feel you on that, and I love your personal goal of being a better, well-rounded indie gamer.
Yeah,
I think that's
I
awesome.
want to, I just feel like I can't really call myself an indie streamer if I'm limiting myself to just a certain genre of games, and I found that sort of like refreshing this mode of mine. I'm liking simulation games, and
I love
like I found some MMOs, and there's some games that like I'm doing second playthroughs of that I'm just like, oh, okay, like I get it, and it's definitely it's cool. It's really cool. I just go down to itch.io and I just scroll now, and I'm just like looking, and I make my little things, and I try things out, and a lot of it has been good. I'm pleasantly surprised by the choices that I've made, but there's some that I could maybe I won't touch again.
In that spirit, I love that, Legend. In that spirit, can we do a quick round, a quick Courtney question of sorts, where everybody kind of briefly says maybe a genre that, like maybe, a 2021 resolution, that a genre that you typically don't like as much, that you want to try more of? So we heard from Legend, kind of simulation games. Even I know Legend like roguelike games historically as well. But I love that you're at least willing to try everything, and that you find that even within those genres, there's something that you end up liking. What about everybody else? Like, does anybody else have any examples of games that... Layla, I know, like, for example, like visual novels you weren't as aware of before Indie Game Club, and now you're really into them. Are there anything... Yeah. Is there anything else that you...
I think that's the one that really hits the most out of the other things that we've played. Mm-hmm. Just because it was so out of like my norm. I'm trying to think of like what we've played that is kind of like different, I guess.
I might say it's maybe family for you. Is that fair?
That is definitely fair. That's definitely fair. I enjoyed the pizza situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of like this.
It's more so the theme. I know you and Tony had similar thoughts about like family. I think maybe this is an example where theme matters. So the pizza situation clicked with you more because of the subject matter. Is that fair to say?
I definitely would try more.
I don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah. Tony, I'm asking you guys, like, if there's like a potentially like a genre of games, not just indie games, but maybe indie games that you would like to challenge yourself to play more of, that you don't particularly like.
I'll let her finish. Sorry about that. I just didn't know family. I forgot that game.
Oh, you played Rivals, Tony. Rivals was the one you played.
Yeah. I still I vaguely remember that game.
Yeah.
I'm honestly going to try to play more shooters.
Really?
Yeah. Because I do fighters and MMOs more than anything. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Shinobi Striker and then Soul Calibur as well. Like I have a bunch of fighting games, but I don't stream them. Like I have Z Fighter, like I have Tekken 7. I have all these fighter games that I don't really stream. I only stream Shinobi for the most part, but I also own like Destiny 2, and I just got a Call of Duty with a Greenie, so it's like I want to kind of get back that way to like play more shooters because I really don't play them very often, just because I personally enjoy what I play. So I would venture out and play more shooters.
Maybe we'll feature some more indie shooters in here too, because that's certainly a healthy genre to add a little bit more to the mix. Speaking of which, that reminds me, all of our amazing people here are streamers and have all this amazing content. I think I have it enabled now to actually drop links. So if you guys don't mind, all of our wonderful people here are actually dropping their links here. And for you folks watching, whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, definitely make sure to follow all these amazing folks. They're producing fantastic content. And I see Bralkowski is also saying on Twitch, visual novels for me too. Legend saying horror games as well.
I feel that. I feel that with
some indie
games.
spooks.
I can get what mine is. Mine is strategy. So strategy RPGs. So I'm talking about like the Fire Emblems.
I remember you saying
the
that.
last one I played was 1998. I was only 8 years old. 1998 was Final Fantasy Tactics, and that was a pretty cool game. But strategy RPGs are pretty hardcore. Like when people think action RPGs, you got RPGs, you got like JRPGs, and then strategy RPGs are like hardcore RPGs.
Yeah.
And I sort of want to get it and try at least like a Fire Emblem or something like that.
Well, the ogre tactics and there's so many different. Yeah, I totally feel you on that. What?
Hey, is Gears of War Tactics a strategy RPG?
It would be. I don't. The new one certainly would be.
That's gonna be on my. It's on my bucket list. I can check that off then. I'm gonna play that.
Shout out to Layla for resubscribing here. I mean, how awesome is it to have guests on the show subscribing? Thank you. Clap it up for Layla here. Really appreciate the support for sure. Again, make sure to check out all these folks' amazing pages and
Wanted the emotes.
subscribe. And you got to get those emotes. Layla's been showing me how to do emotes. I'm starting to. Hopefully, I'm becoming one of the cooler kids. And I promise you, folks, cool emotes are coming. We're slowly. There we go. Look at that. Layla dropping the emotes there. I love it. I love it.
It's so awesome.
That is, we love it here for sure. Xavier, derivative. Do you guys? Is there any particular genres you want to work on?
Yeah, my big one right now is, and I ran into this with a obscure title I played a little while back. I'm having trouble giving it a genre.
Yeah,
but I'm going to say first-person adventure games. So your things like Myst, The Seventh Guest.
Yeah.
I've played this game called Garage Bad Dream, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Dream Simulator. It was a Japanese game that just recently got a fan translation. I think they sold like 5,000 copies back in the day. Someone just like managed to get it onto the internet, and I just struggled through it because I just don't know how to play that style of game.
That was really popular in like mid to late 90s for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That was a time where that genre was somewhat king because it was so innovative, and you could actually bring in like pre-rendered 3D environments, and so it was really visually impressive. I feel you on that. I may be somewhat in the same boat in that area. Xavier, how about you, my friend?
I've just been trying to play more games in general. Like, I know we've talked before, I haven't really been playing as many games as I used to. And, but I'm just kind of going through my backlog, and I usually like cycle through 2 or 3 games. They're all usually different genres. So it's just more about trying to play more.
I feel you. Play more. I love it. We might have to adjust some things with this Nightbot stuff. I'm still learning. Layla's walking me through some of this. So yeah, Layla, thank you for resending those links right there. Make sure to check those all out for sure. Well, back to Lena's Inception here. Derivative, I don't think I heard much from you on this end. Any thoughts for the gameplay style or?
I mean, I guess I'm not the biggest on the that kind of style of Zelda games. It was certainly competent about that, and it did it very well. The procedural generation, there definitely seemed to be some really good things in place to ensure that you couldn't get stuck. I kind of liked where the story was going. I wasn't able to get far enough into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked what I've played so far.
Yeah, it's definitely subversive in a few like key ways to what Tony was saying, and Legend as well. Like, there's some parts where even the whole like damsel in distress thing is flipped around its head, right? You like the whole like village was preparing for this like hero that is essentially Link, right? And yet it's Lena's the true hero here, and things are flipped around their head. And if you see in the trailer, you see that kind of bloody scene with the famous Zelda line. What was it? What was the line? Like, take this.
It's dangerous out there. What was it
take
exactly?
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's dangerous out there.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
That's right. So there's some cool. As you see there, it already tells you in the trailer, so we're not spoiling anything. The legendary hero is dead. So you that's a bit of a quick shock and surprise and a subversion over what is traditionally the case in this game, these types of games. I think this game's doing quite well from my understanding. It's got like a 9 out of 10 like average on Steam. It seems to be building up a bit of an audience, and so if you do...
Oh yeah, it's quite positive.
Yeah,
Quite positive. Yeah.
And there's already a speedrunning community on it, so that's always a really good sign.
That is a really good sign.
That's a good sign.
That is awesome. Nomad, I see you dropped, or Xavier, I see you dropped a link there. Layla, do you mind sending his link out there as well?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying to get them to like comment. I was trying to do Tony's to get him to comment so that I can just copy it. Because for some reason it wasn't popping up.
There we
for
go,
me.
Tony, and then
Yeah,
Xavier.
there you go.
Maybe if you put something else on there again. Awesome. So it sounds like overall we're all overall pleased with the game and looking to play more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like this week's.
Yeah, you recommended most of the games, so
I liked it. I did. I liked Tony's add-on. I thought it was awesome. I liked this week better than I would have to say last week. Last week was a little so-so.
What were all the ones we had last week? I gotta almost remind myself. How many? We played like 5 or 6 games last week.
Yeah, it was like the Deity Driver.
I will still defend that. Derivative, I'm with you on that one. Yeah. I loved it. But I know Legend. I know it's not for everyone. But what was the other ones? It was Witch Orb.
Afternoon Spaghetti.
Guardian Sphere. Some old stuff.
Yeah. Some old stuff.
Oh, the feels.
That was a really good one for sure. Yeah, it's each week is a little bit different here, and we're hoping everybody who's watching also kind of gets an opportunity to play along with us. Most of the games we feature typically are free or are part of the itch Racial Justice and Equity bundle, so hopefully you got a chance to pick that up earlier in the year. Probably the best bundle of all time, I would say.
It was,
at this point. So definitely from the indie standpoint is fantastic stuff. Well, as we wrap up here, I'd love to hear what y'all plan to play next week, because of course we are not going to have Indie Game Club next week. We're skipping it because of Thanksgiving. We hope everybody has a as best of a 2020 Thanksgiving as you possibly can. We hope you're all staying safe and distancing, right, and responsibly wearing masks and whatnot. But I'd love to hear from all of you. If you not only can say one more time where people can follow you, but also what will you guys be playing next week? Tony, let's start with you. I think you're on mute, Tony.
Oh, you muted.
We can't hear you.
Oh, you're so muted.
We can't hear you at all, Tony. I don't know what the deal is. It's not showing.
What's happening?
I'm not sure. We'll come back to you, Tony. We'll come back to you. All right, Xavier, let's go to you. I know you've been playing Hades a lot, and you're talking about having a few games that you're rotating between. Let us know.
Playing Hades, Bloodstained Ritual, Deus Ex Human Revolution, and Octopath Traveler are my main games.
Nice. Right, that's a cool mix of games right there. All highly regarded games for sure. Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Legend, how about you?
I have my list.
There's that notebook again.
My list. Well, I have to finish Nanotales, which is the second adventure of the Typing Chronicles. So if you're familiar with Epistory,
yep.
I spoke about this I think last week too. I have to finish some of it, but you're using your homeworld to play. That's literally all it is. So it's great. I think a teaching tool, especially. The story is really great. But I want to play some Far Cry Primal. I want to get some stuff. I want to try to be that person that completes all of the little hidey hole thingies. I've never done that in a game
little
before,
collection things. I hear you.
That's what I'm gonna go for over the holidays. I'm gonna try to collect some stuff because I like it. Out of all the Far Cry Primals, I think this is like my favorite one. I like the caveman style, like you can have all these pets and things. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, it was cool that they tried something a little different there.
Yeah, but I definitely want to play. I have a list of indies I want to go through, so I want to organize my collection a little bit better. But you guys can find me on Twitch at Legends of Star. Layla posted the link in chat. I can't wait for the next indie club. I'm like so excited to chat games with you guys again. So I'm gonna miss this Thursday.
I know. It's gonna be definitely different for everyone for sure. We'll have to check.
Yeah, but that's my plan. My plan, messy plan, but I have something.
Of typing games, Derivative, I saw you dropped into our little group chat a typing game from was it Richard Hoffmeyer, right? The creator of Cart Life. I think that was you that dropped that in. Maybe somebody else did, but if those are familiar with the Independent Game Festival Awards, the IGF, you can find a game that you might recall from maybe like 6 years ago called Cart Life, which is an interesting black and white adventure game that like analyzes this kind of a self-critical or a critical like of capitalism and like working class like life. It's a very interesting look at. I haven't played it since it was released.
Yeah, I did.
And he made his most recent game he just dropped is a typing game. So Legend, I was thinking about you as well for that. So yeah, Derivative, that was maybe we'll have to have that on a few.
Yeah, I saw that. Like now that you're like it's like ringing bells.
Yeah,
that one's called Type Dreams, and
Type Dreams.
You can either play it like straight up keyboard style, or you can play it like a typewriter.
Yeah, and there's this other one too that's a typing game, and it's like a spooky one, like you kill people or something weird, or like it's like a murder mystery thing. Ooh. I saw it I was like scrolling, I saw it somewhere.
I want to know about that because I actually am trying. Like I kind of told you guys a bit about. We'll talk about more later about building some custom indie arcade cabinets, and I want to have one dedicated strictly to typing games. So definitely let us know. And in fact, I plan on decorating the entire cabinet with keys that are pulled off of keyboards and fastening them to the entire thing. So it's literally going to be a crazy ass looking.
Sounds scary.
And do the Morse code one.
Yes. Good. Oh, yeah. Yes, you're totally right about that. Go Morse Go Arcade Edition would be excellent for that. Want to give a quick shout out to Pizza Situation, who I think just left but wrote, it's almost 3 a.m. Almost 3 a.m. So 6 hour difference from us. Thank you so much for coming here today. Really appreciate it.
Get some sleep.
Yeah. But they wrote, but it's been a great show. We'll definitely come back for more. Glad to have found out about y'all. Oh, thank you. You are awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out here. Really appreciate it and you participating and staying up so late. That is really cool of you. And Vimy, who also said props to Pizza Situation. Thank you, Vimy, again for the developer of King of the CUL-DE-SAC. Clap it up for Vimy as well. Really appreciate you both. We always love when developers come in, especially awesome ones like you guys are. Clearly cool people. We got to have you guys as guests on the show. That would be really cool. Derivative, let us know what are you going to be playing this week? I'm imagining you're going to be streaming some new stuff in the next week or so.
Yeah, we got a stream tomorrow. Still figuring out exactly what it is. So if you want to see what that is, twitch.tv/Derivative. Still figuring that out. Kind of got a little behind because of the constant refreshing of the PlayStation Store. But I did manage to secure a PlayStation 5.
Ooh.
So that's showing up. That's showing up tomorrow. Probably won't be streaming off of it, but
yeah. How excited are you?
I was excited that I was actually able to manage to get one.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend that to anybody. Refreshing that page so many times.
Is your finger like completely destroyed at this point?
Yeah, I think the F5 key has some missing ink. So
I hear you. Well, the fact that you got one is impressive.
Yeah,
definitely check out Derivative for which I'm sure will be an awesome stream for sure with some unique indie games. So appreciate that. All right, last but not least, Layla, what are you going to be playing in this next week?
Oh, I can speak now too.
Oh, there we go. Of course. Thank you,
good.
Tony. Sorry.
Good, Tony.
I'm glad you're able to speak again.
You could go. Yeah.
This is the Discord problem. I've been finishing up Quantum Break. I want to actually try Control. So I'll probably be playing that.
Going through the Relic games. Okay.
Yeah, derivative. Oh, the Xbox Series S. I'm going to be playing that a lot. Like I said, one day I might try Stadia. I got to figure that out. Or with that bundle pack or whatever. Resident Evil 3 remake. I've been wanting to play that for so long. So now that I have a Xbox, I'm able to play that. I previously only had a Nintendo Switch.
You need to ask Layla about some of them Resident Evils. She's the expert over here. For
The
sure.
Resident
Show him that
Evil, yeah.
tattoo, Layla. Bam,
Does
right
she have a
there.
tattoo?
Resident Evil
Whoa.
5.
Does
Does she
Yeah.
have a tattoo?
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Tony, that sounds like you got a lot on your plate. You and Derivative have gone next gen on us. Look at you, fancy folks. Look at the banker
Yeah.
over here with his
The
next
funny
gen
thing is, the
console.
thing I'll probably be playing are like weird games from like the PlayStation 4. Seeing
Yeah.
it's like let's see how they optimize Arcania, which is like the Gothic 4 game that no one cared about.
Yes.
The number one game I was playing was Nights in the Dreams. That's when I first first booted up
The Sega game? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, Nights in the Dreams. I was playing Nights in
the
the
Sega
Dreams.
Saturn
and,
title? Love
World
it.
War Z. World War Z is really awesome. Definitely a derivative off of Left 4 Dead. So love that game. World War Z and Nights in the Dreams were my two favorite games we've been playing so far.
Love it. Love it. Nice. We got a quick comment here I want to get to. Brolkovsky asked about Go Morse Go, which Layla mentioned. That was a game we featured probably about a month ago. It's an arcade battling Morse code game.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, for sure.
It's also local. It was local co-op as well, or multiplayer.
Yeah.
You can play. So yeah,
Definitely recommend
it was a lot of fun.
For sure. All right, Layla, let us know what are you going to be playing this next week, and let folks know about your stream schedule.
Okie dokie. I am going to be playing some more Shinobi Striker, but I'm also going to be playing Little Hope. I've been trying to play more Bandai games because I have a bunch of them. I've been playing a lot of Bandai games my whole life, so I'm going to try to start focusing more on those. So I am going to play Little Hope, and what else? Call of Duty. I am going to play Zombies with Brini. Me and her are going to get on there and play some shooters.
Uh-oh. I think you...
Oh, it was a good time.
the Toady tagged you with the audio hit.
It's spreading.
No!
That died.
There you go.
You hear me?
Back on.
Okay.
Awesome.
Gonna play Call of Duty, some zombies, and then also there's an indie game that I am looking into wanting to play. It came out on the 10th. It's called Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, and I'm definitely interested in that. It's like you're a child of a harvest god and a god of war, and it's like Rune Factory and Harvest Moon mixed together with like a Crystal Chronicles feel as well.
That's
So I'm
interesting.
definitely gonna be trying to get into that as well.
Yeah, let us know more about that. That sounds really cool. I actually don't know what I'll be playing. It's funny how I ask you guys a lot of questions that if I asked myself, I would have no idea what the answer is. I'm going to be combing through Itch, Game Pass, Stadia, all these things to just try to find some indie games to play around with, and I'm sure I'll find something unique, and I'll definitely report back on it. But thank you all so much. Everybody, let's clap it up for our amazing guests here today. We really appreciate them. They are fantastic as always. And clap it up for the audience. You guys are so fantastic. Appreciate the participation. This was great. I love King of the Nerds saying, good show this week. Love it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Vivi saying, thank you for finding good indie games for me so I don't have to. I love it. We are here to help any lazy indie gamers out there. No, all joking aside. No, we're super excited to be able to recommend all this stuff for you. So last thing we're going to do as we are 9 o'clock here, we are going to raid one of our friends on Twitch, their channel. So I see Fangirl Review is on here. So why don't we all take a moment right here to hop on over there and please show some love. let's send everybody there. Did I get this right? Okay, so we're raiding here right now, right before we sign off. So make sure you're jumping into that raid, and we will all see you over there in her channel. Thanks, everybody.